Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, where we proudly provide world-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and this show is Iconic Women. And I started this show last year after a trip to Greece, specifically Saronida, where I met a beautiful, wonderful woman who was helping people really tap into who they are through wellness and through retreats. And she taught me all about what it's like to be an iconic woman and the deep roots in Greek philosophy. Her name is Dr. Alkistis Agios. So thank you very much. Today, I have two beautiful, talented, educated, very experienced women who are backstage, and they're going to join me for the show. Let me bring them out, and then I will introduce them. Welcome and welcome. Hello to both of you. For those of you who are listening later on a podcast platform only, we have Lace Flowers and we have Sutton McCraney, and they are both co-founders of The Flavor Room. They are speakers, they are authors, they are podcast hosts, and they are women who mean what they say and say what they mean. And we're going to dig into it. Thank you for being here today as my guests.
Dr. Kerbeck, thank you so much for having us. And what a lovely introduction. I was listening. I was like, is that us?
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate having both of you today. So I want to get started before we delve into your background. When you hear the two words together, iconic and women, what are your thoughts? Let's start with Lace.
Well, why, thank you for the question. When I hear the words iconic women, I actually think to myself, gosh, am I actually one of these women? That was something that I never felt would be something that I would be, you know? So it feels like it's something big, it's grand, it's making impact, it's doing all the wonderful things in the world and being recognized for it, being recognized for the work that you do. So that's what comes to me when I hear iconic women. And yeah, I think it's still really difficult for me to kind of accept that I am an iconic woman.
Absolutely. And thank you for sharing that. And to me, what I always think is we hear some terms like iconic and we think, oh, no, that's not me. That's someone at another level. But when we look at what we've actually accomplished as human beings, yes, it does apply. So congratulations. Let's go over to you, Sutton. What are your thoughts when you heard the words iconic women and thought about being on a TV show about this topic?
I actually thought of my grandmother. I consider her to be an iconic woman. And when I think of the words specifically, I think of women who are paving the way for others, not only leaving a legacy, but leaving something impactful behind that others can follow.
Thank you. That's beautiful. Nice tribute. And something I just want to point out, because it hasn't always been this way. I know when I was in corporate up until 2020, there was a lot of backstabbing from woman to woman. It wasn't what I feel today. Maybe it's just that this platform is really about us supporting each other. But it was kind of like, no, let's not help her get ahead. No. And I really feel like especially with the two of you working together, you've created something really beautiful that is really an inspiration for other women to say, hey, you know what? You can achieve achieve what you're achieving. You can still be independent and accomplished, and so can I. And together, what can we create? So tell us about the foundation of the two of you working together, and then we're going to get into the flavor room.
I really love those reflections that you shared, Dr. Kerbeck, and it's exactly what we've been doing. And when Lace and I decided to come together to create the flavor room, one of the things we had in mind was righting the wrongs that we felt had been done to us along our entrepreneurial journey. So there were parts of this that were very altruistic, if you will, because we saw the huge, vast gap, specifically in the online business space. And we wanted to fill that in the best way we could. Lace and I have known each other for a little over 3 years. And it was just kind of a happen kind of thing on social media. And we stayed in each other's orbit ever since, until we came together for the flavor room.
Yes, yes, indeed. And we definitely have experienced that backstabbing you're talking about in corporate. It's all over the online space as well. We've had a lot of pushback since we came together. And since it's been going, it's been very interesting to observe and just to see how people move and how all these spaces that want to empower and uplift and help you achieve your dreams and all those wonderful buzzwords. But when it actually comes down to it, a lot of the time that we have seen that that's not actually the case at all. And it is more like tearing each other down and not wanting to help each other. And we certainly didn't want to be part of that problem. We wanted to be part of the solution. And that's essentially what we're creating and have created with the Flavor Room.
Thank you very much. And I love the fact that you have trademarked the name, the Flavor Room. So people might get all kinds of ideas of what the Flavor Room could be. Tell us in your own words what it stands for and what the experience is like.
Well, the flavor room is simply, and we have it on our background, bring your flavor, build your influence. Because we found along our journey that when we were invited to spaces, we had to contort ourselves. We had to look a certain way, talk a certain way, dress a certain way, fit the mold. And particularly as a woman of color, you already have 10 million other things going on that you have to contort and fit into. And we said, you know what? Not anymore. We want to create a space where none of that is necessary. Bring your flavor, bring who you are, bring it to the space. So Lace loves cooking. I love cooking. We're spicy. We said flavor room. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how it happened. And I had noticed, and I think Sutton can attest to this as well, that out there in the world, especially online, you're told to behave a certain way. You have to act professional, whatever that actually means, because it kind of depends on your definition of it or what you've been told that definition is. And what I'd found is so many people out there just become like NPCs. They're just going through the motions, saying these really dull things because that's the way you're supposed to introduce yourself. You're supposed to have an elevator pitch and all of those good things. And that's not to say these things are not useful, they're not valuable, but everyone just started to sound really the same, really bland. And I was like, hey man, where is the seasoning? Like, where is the marination? Why aren't people bringing themselves, their full selves, who they actually are, to the table? Because that's essentially how you stand out. And I'm hearing lots of people going, oh, nobody's paying attention to me. I'm sort of posting into the wind and it's disappearing. And it's like, yeah, because you sound like everybody else. The way to stand out is to be yourself. But a lot of people seem to be very scared to do that. So we were like, no, we need to have a space where people can bring exactly who they are and do what they want to do, what they really want to do. Because a lot of people were contorting themselves like we were at times and trying to fit into boxes that were never made for us. So it was about, really stepping out of that box and being exactly who you are.
I think that is absolutely beautiful. And I love the metaphors that you're using too, because it makes a lot of sense. So something that's coming up for me is what I've noticed, our program today is on social media, plus a number of other places. And what I see, and I don't get into politics, but I see so much unhappiness and hatred that people, even when I'm broadcasting some of my shows, people will put really horrible things. And it's just like, wait a minute, where's this all coming from? And to your point, I feel like people in general, okay, I can't be specifics with percentages, but there are a number of people who are really unhappy with themselves. They might be unhappy with what's going on in the world, but they're also unhappy with themselves. And instead of making a difference in a positive way, they retreat and go to lower vibrations and negative energy. So what can we share with people today who are really feeling angry and upset and they don't even know who they are?
Wow. We would probably need an entire episode, Dr. Kerbick, just to, get into that. But to kind of keep it brief, I think if people are feeling triggered about certain things, it comes back to oneself, thinking about why are those things triggering to you and getting to the source, because it's rarely has to do with things outside, right? It's typically something internal that is going on that is causing that strife. And to hone in on women specifically, to bring it back to the tearing down and these types of things, I think it comes back to a lot of feelings of inadequacy, because we are told as women we need to be a certain way. And when you start scrolling on social media, there are certain images and certain aesthetics that are there that can cause a lot of women to kind of perpetuate these things and feeling frustration that they can't achieve this ideal. So again, I think going back to why is this triggering for you and doing some internal reflection.
Yeah, I would agree. And then actually doing something about it. You don't have to, you can channel that negative feelings, the negative energy, the anger into something good. It doesn't have to be something negative. It doesn't have to be tearing someone else down. It doesn't have to be spending your time on the internet just being mean to other people. You can really put that into something useful. And instead of like wallowing in whatever it is, the victimhood, the inadequacy, or whatever that thing is, you can say, okay, well, what can I do to change this? And then go out there and be part of that solution. And that is so much more useful than being cruel to other people.
Absolutely. And both of you brought up a number of topics that, Sutton, to your point, we could spend weeks just drilling down into each topic. And I'm not going to go into depth, but we're seeing a lot of photographs, images, videos about A-list celebrities who are they're taking a path on their health that is maybe not what we want the masses to do. But I'm not here to judge anyone. So my point is that just because we see something on social media, that doesn't mean that we have to follow it. We can acknowledge it. We can say that's someone else's path. But that leads me to going over to your website, because I think there's something here that stands out immediately when I get to the website. So I'm going to be sharing it right now. And the website, for those of you who are interested in going there, we have it in the notes, but it's the Flavor, THEFLAVOR.biz. So what I see immediately in the first sentence there, the only curated ecosystem where diverse entrepreneurs and leaders of color stop asking for permission and start building legacy, visibility, and wealth together. So I really want to focus on that part. Stop asking for permission, because this is where people get tripped up. It's like, I've got to have the approval of this one and that one and this one and that one. And then they never actually move forward. And what do? They start blaming. It's your fault. You know what? I would have done it, but you held me back. But it's really about us. So let's talk a little bit about that. When do we actually stop asking for permission and believe that we have the answers inside? Let's start with Lace.
Wow, that's a big question. I think when we begin to trust ourselves, that is when we stop asking for permission. That is when we can stop blaming other people or other outside influence or whatever that is. It's that inner trust, that following of your intuition and going with it, knowing that whatever it is that's been put in your heart, in your soul to go out and do is there for a reason. And that's all the permission that you need. You've already got it because it's inside of you. So if you can just move forward, regardless of what anyone says, regardless of people that tell you, oh, you're nuts, that'll never work, that's stupid. I've heard all of that stuff about the things that I've wanted to do, and I went with them anyway. And do you know what? They're the things that work the best. So I really think it's about trusting yourself that's when you're able to move forward. And it doesn't matter what anyone else says, because you literally do not need their approval anymore, because you don't care. You just know what you're here to do.
I think we stop asking for permission today. Really just deciding, you know what, I'm done, because I can tell you from experience that when you spend time seeking approval from others, you're never going to get it. They're never going to be satisfied. You will never be able to fulfill that lofty expectation. So you might as well just go ahead and do what you need to do. It's
Absolutely.
easier said than done, but I don't have any, fluffy advice to give. You just got to go out and do it and, tune out the noise.
Good direction from both of you. Thank you. I know when I first started in the media business, I was in corporate and I had a radio show out of New York that I paid for. And then I paid for a TV show. And then people started coming to me and saying, hey, can I have a show with you? And I'll never forget this because it was a really profound moment. It was probably in 2022. I was out for a walk with my mother and we ran into someone we've known for a long time. And she said, I saw you on social media, Jacalyn, and I just wondered, what do you think, you're going to be famous? What do you think, you're a celebrity? What are you doing wasting your time? And I was like, I feel like someone stuck a knife in my chest because I've known her for so long. And I looked at her and I said, you know what? I'm following my dream. That's what I'm doing. And so there have been a lot of naysayers along the way, but I've had to keep going because their opinion is not really what matters. What matters is I'm following my intuition and I'm following what I believe is my direction from God and from the universe, that I'm here to create a legacy. So I want to go back to your website again, because I want people to understand what it is they'll get by becoming part of the Flavor Room. And by the way, is it open to anyone?
The Flavor Room is open to, first of all, anyone who is aligned with our values. So if they don't have a problem with our values, then that's perfectly fine. We do center founders and CEOs of color, but those who are white or don't identify as founders and CEOs of color, they're welcome as well. But we are invite only, so it's not like you just pay and the gate's open to you. There is a layer of vetting that goes on because we want to protect the integrity of the ecosystem that we've created.
Fantastic. And I totally appreciate that. And that makes it more desirable for a lot of people, knowing that there is a process that you have to go through. So once they are vetted and they get into the Flavor Room, we have here on the screen what the two words you'll experience: professional growth and opportunity, strategic connections, personal growth and discovery, and value beyond the surface. Can you talk a little bit more about these, specifically as to who would be a good client to be part of the Flavor Room?
Lace, you want to go ahead?
No, go ahead.
So we've actually elevated this and we're waiting for our website to be updated, but I can still speak to this because the same things still apply, just at a higher level. So when it comes to professional growth and opportunity, we have found along our journey that, particularly when it comes to founders and CEOs of color, that a lot of the spaces are isolating in a way because they don't quite fit in for a number of reasons. So we wanted to provide an opportunity for founders and CEOs of color to get that professional growth, to be able to elevate their leadership, be seen as leaders instead of just the help or someone that needs helping, really coming in as a peer, as a leader. And that alone, we've seen, some phenomenal results with those inside of the Flavor Room when it comes to opportunity. We're talking about visibility beyond cute little social media posts, connecting with people who have walked the path that our members want to walk on, and can also help them network with other people, because that's something else that's huge. Getting in the rooms with people who are either where you are or where you want to be, And that's what we've really tried to create with the flavor room. When it comes to the strategic connections, again, I think that overlaps with what I just said, but where it makes sense, not just connecting people to connect them, where it makes sense with their goals and where they want to be, and the personal growth and discovery, getting rid of isolation, being able to have high level conversations with your peers where you can kind of get some relief from whatever's been bottled up from being the only one in the room in a lot of situations, and value beyond the surface. We are not a mastermind. We are not a coaching program. We are not an exclusively networking space. All of those things happen organically within the flavor room. And that's what we mean, value beyond the surface. What we've created is going to go beyond just transactional, where you pay us and you get in and you're just in the space. No, it is mutually beneficial on a vast number of levels, not only for our members, but also for us as well. And that coincides with our research too.
Thank you so much. Lace, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, just when we're talking about connections, I know a lot of you guys listening probably like, yeah, well, I on coffee chats and stuff with people. We're not talking about just talking to someone and then it goes nowhere. These connections go somewhere. These lead to real collaborations. This leads to more money. This leads to more influence. This leads to filling up your sponsorship spots in your annual event or whatever that is very, very quickly. You know that you can jump in the room and say, hey, I've got this thing going on. I need X, Y, and Z. And people are going to step forward and actually help you. This is not some dead end sort of just talking for the sake of talking. And in terms of the research, that is super exciting, because the research that we did pretty much off the bat, right, Sutton? We started this in August 2025. And this is one of the first things we did. We didn't just want to be known as just some little networking group or something like that. And that's what people tried to put us into, that box, and we were like, no, we're bigger than this. We're going to go out and not only share why we made this, because a lot of the flavor room is based on our own personal experiences and things that we've been through ourselves, but we knew we weren't the only ones. There was no way we were the only people that had experienced the things that we'd experienced. So we went out and we did the research. We asked the questions that either people were too scared to ask or just simply didn't care to ask because it doesn't affect them. And what we found was absolutely incredible. And we have just published our very own independently published research paper called Is It Legit? Redefining Equity, Leadership and Influence in the Online Business Space. And it was absolutely mind-blowing. And from that, again, we are not just here to say, these are all the problems. Oh my gosh, problems. We have built a solution to these problems. So just wanted to put that in there, and we can expand on that as well.
Congratulations. That is music to my ears. I love hearing about research. And of course, on this program with the word iconic, as entrepreneurs, as business leaders, as human beings, I truly believe that we have to continue to work on ourselves. And by working on ourselves, what I really mean is looking at where are there possible opportunities for growth. And Lace, from what you just said, I always look at everything as, okay, this presented itself. I made this choice. I went in this direction. Maybe it didn't work out the way that I wanted it to, but I learned something. So what am I going to do with this learning to find the solution? And I think that's where there's a disconnect sometimes between people, because something happens, but we don't want to be accountable and say, you know what? Yeah, I raised my hand. I went and did that. And even when it's things that are absolutely horrific, and I've shared this before, I was raped. Okay. I don't want to get everyone upset, but I was. And I went to a bar when I was underage, and I had family members tell me, you know what, you shouldn't have been there. If you weren't there, then it wouldn't have happened. And we could talk about that all day long, but I do have to own the fact that I shouldn't have gone there because I wasn't of age. And if I was, maybe I would have done something differently. But at the same time, what happened wasn't right either. So my point being that we get to make choices. And so by continuously learning and embracing those learnings, hopefully we'll make choices voices that are the ones that really feel well and resonate with us when we start to look at what it is that we're creating. So I want to go back to what the two of you are doing and hear more about this research. I feel like that is truly fascinating and not something that you typically hear from people that I interview with. It's not we did all this research and here's what we found.
Thank you. Yes, it's not something you typically hear. And I love that you mentioned accountability because that's actually one of our standards that came from the research. As Lace said, we have a solution to the different issues that we uncovered through our research. And one of those was creating our own business standards framework. And one of the standards in that framework is accountability. So when it comes to the research, is it legit? Redefining equity, leadership, and influence in the online business space. We tackled something, well, many topics, but one of them was the illusion of inclusion. How many times platforms in their marketing, they will say, we're open to everyone. It's inclusive, diversity, yay, go us. And when individuals who are diverse find themselves in that space, what they purchased, what they signed up for is not what they got. It wasn't exactly diverse. And one of the aspects we explored was interviews. We conducted over 24 hours of interviews with entrepreneurs and leaders from a variety of locations and industries to get their insights and their experiences on some of these issues. So our research is both qualitative as well as quantitative because we knew being women of color, it would not be enough to have anecdotal stories. We needed to do some deep diving into, the CDC, Rand Corporation and Forbes and, different entities like that to get the quantitative research as well when it came to what are the numbers, what is going on with entrepreneurs of color. Are there disparages and discrepancies? So there are. We knew that, but we wanted to, have the data and the information to back that up. We also explored, as Lace mentioned, ethical sales practices. What's going on with that? What does it mean to have influence in the online business space? And I know I'm short on time, so I will go ahead and let Lace add her portion of that when it comes to hidden systems. And also, Lace, if you could touch on the fact of what we realized after we had done this research when it came to the broader implications of it beyond the online business space.
Yes, absolutely. So very briefly, I was responsible for the hidden systems to business success, in this case, online business success. And what that included was things like food security and nutrition. That included financial cushioning. And it also included, I've gone completely blank now, care, the hidden labor of care. So we're talking, children, siblings, older generations. And that was super, super interesting because all of these things that I've just mentioned are usually things that are, one, never even thought about. They're not even given a second thought. Two, they're usually put down to things like it's a mindset issue. You just need to go fix your mindset and all of this stuff magically goes away. And it does not. If you want to read the entire research paper, you can. We have an interactive copy of it on our website, so you can check that out. And if you want the full thing originally, then you can give us an email and we will send you the entire paper. Sorry. But in terms of the broader context, what we found after we did this is that all this research and all of this data and all of the findings go way beyond the online business space. This actually applies to corporate spaces and business as a whole. This covers DEI. It fills the gap that DEI was never designed to fill or fix in the first place, and it goes beyond that as well, because we're talking about ethics and good business practice as a whole. So we are now taking our research to leadership teams in corporate and giving talks on this and sharing it, and it's going down really, really well. We've already presented inside of a private business community and getting invites to continue to do that. So that's really exciting because this is so much bigger than we actually realized when we started out, and it applies in so many different contexts, and especially the corporate space. There is definitely a gap, and we believe we filled it.
Congratulations. And I just want to say, I literally could spend hours with you ladies because there's so much more for us to go into. I do want to comment on something that I believe, Sutton, that you said. And one of the things is when companies have to follow certain guidelines from the government, for example, that can look one way. And when they're really embracing a culture of inclusion, that can look a completely different way. So it's one thing to check off the boxes and say, we did this, we did this, we did this. And it's another thing to feel like you are really part of a community who embraces you for who you are. And so I think there's still a lot of work to be done on that aspect, just based on my experience in corporate for a long time. But Lace, to your point about the research that the two of you did that is available, that people can go ahead and get their hands on and digest, that you've been able to make inroads. So I think maybe now there is more openness. I'm hoping openness and excitement about embracing this kind of information. And to me, I look at it like we're all humans. We're all the same. We all deserve to be here. Why don't we celebrate one another? But yet I know that sounds juvenile in some ways. I know it is, because I've experienced myself in many ways. And so it's kind of like there's a lot of work to be done, and you two are doing the work. So I want to thank you for that. I really do appreciate it. We have a few minutes left, and I have so many other topics I could talk to you about. But what would you like to share with the audience? What would you like people to take away? Especially, we didn't talk about your podcast yet, which I want to get to that too. But Lace, what are one or two things that you feel are really important for our audience?
I think it's really important for anyone that is listening or watching, whether it's live or on the replay, is to trust yourself. Trust yourself, do what it is that you need to do, and just do it. Don't feel no way. Stop fearing what other people think or what other people are going to say, because people are always going to think something. People are always going to say something. And no matter what you do, you cannot please everyone. So you may as well just please yourself. So go out and do the thing, and don't feel no way about it. And know that if you keep going, if you keep persisting, if you just continue on the path, that it will absolutely pay off, because it always does. And I've seen it in my life time and time again. And I've seen it with the Flavor Room. When we started, it was like, oh, you guys are nuts. This is never going to work. We had a lot of pushback. We had a lot of things happening in public that was really quite difficult to deal with, because people didn't like what we were doing. People were frightened, it seemed, of what we were going to bring into the world. And we never let it stop us. We just quietly get on with what we need to do behind the scenes, and then we put it out there when it's time, and we just carry on. It really doesn't matter. And as a result, things are really taking off. They're moving in the way that they need to move, and the success is coming. We've already seen it. So no matter what it is that you have got going on that you want to go and do, go do it, and stop telling your big dreams to small-minded people, because that is the quickest way to kill them. So just go out there and do your thing.
Congratulations. I love that. So many great points in there. And we were sharing your LinkedIn address as well, which we will bring up shortly. Sutton, how about one or two things from you that you want people to take away from today's episode?
I would say that there is a wide and large, vast vacuum, gap, canyon, whatever you want to call it, for leadership. We are increasingly seeing that the way so-called leaders present themselves is not the truth. And that provides a great opportunity for us, regular folks, if that's what you want to call us, to fill that gap, to lead. But it starts with us leading ourselves. You cannot lead anyone until you know how to effectively lead yourself first. So that's what I would like to impart on the audience today. There's a huge gap of leadership. Fill it, but start with leading yourself first so that you can fill it and right the wrongs that you see in the world. Instead of complaining about it, sitting back and waiting for someone else to come along and be the Spider-Man or Superman to come fill it and fix a problem, you do it.
Very well said. As my mother used to tell me, oh, I wish I had a magic wand. And I'd say, Mom, there is no magic wand. It's up to each and every one of us to do our part. Instead of being judgmental and sitting on the sidelines and casting judgment, do something, go and help someone, go and make your dreams come true so that you're happy and fulfilled and you can lend a hand to someone else. So, ladies, that brings me over to your podcast. Tell us about this. Who is a good guest for you, and how do people actually go ahead and register? Is it open? How does it work?
I'm so glad that you asked about the podcast, because the podcast has had an up level as well, the Fully Flavored Business Podcast. Quickly, we discuss things that you will, quite frankly, not find anywhere else on another business or entrepreneurial type podcast, because we go beyond, here's how you make $10,000. Here's how you do this. No, we're having real conversations about what it takes to be successful. Some of those hidden things that Lace spoke about earlier. Those are the kind of conversations that we're having. And when it comes to a guest, a good fit guest is a leader in their respective space who is ready to have those high level conversations, to dive deep into whether it's their area of expertise or some deeper discussions about what is going on in the business or entrepreneurial space. We have just started offering paid guest spots because we are being pitched consistently on a weekly basis to have high level people on our podcast. And we said, you know what, this is an opportunity for us to put on the big girl pants and really own what we've created with our podcast. We are growing weekly with viewers. And so we said, yeah, paid guest spots. So if anyone is interested in being a guest on our podcast, they can reach out to us either on LinkedIn or send us an email at hello@theflavor.biz. And we will happily have that conversation with you about being a guest on our podcast. We would love to have you.
Thank you very much.
Make sure you listen. Go listen. No, it's okay.
No, go ahead, Lace, please.
No, I was going to say, make sure you go listen. We are on most of your favorite platforms: Apple, Amazon, iHeart, and Spotify. And new episodes drop every single Tuesday. So there is always something juicy for you to get your ears into.
And we do have it on the screen. So for anyone who is interested, if you're listening later on a podcast platform, you can also go to the Flavor, FLAVOR.biz, BIZ/podcast, or the email address again, please.
hello@theflavor.biz.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay, it's been an absolute pleasure. I just want to make sure that we go through all of the ways that people can contact you. So I'm going to be bringing them up onto the screen. Sutton, we have your LinkedIn. And is there anything specific that you want people to know about your background here on LinkedIn?
No, it's vast. I mean, they will find, my military background there. They will find our research. They will find our project, which is the solution to the research, our certification, and they will find live videos and all kinds of content they can dive into. And when they're ready, they know where to find me to connect.
All right. Thank you very much. And the link is there in the comments. And Lace, this is you on LinkedIn. What do you want people to know about your background?
It's all there. So not only am I the co-founder of the Flavor Room, but I also bring Empire Kitchen into the community. And it's also the other thing that I do, which inside of the Flavor Room is quarterly workshops on food, nutrition, and sustainable performance, because food and nutrition is my absolute heart. I love it, love it, love it. And I just take it everywhere with me. As you can see, it was kind of melded into the Flavor Room. And yeah, check it out. Everything is all there. You'll see a lot of the same things as Sutton, because obviously we work together. We're doing the same stuff. So it's all there. You'll see features from DWC magazine and other places that we pop up and appear together. So yeah, dive in. And if you want to chat more, just send me a DM.
All right. Thank you both for being here. I hope you'll come back and see me or one of my team members on another show. And I just congratulate you for everything that you're doing. And I just feel the positive energy coming through the screen today. So thank you for taking the time.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank
Purbeck,
you
for giving us this opportunity to be on your platform. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Please do reach out to these two fabulous individuals. You'll see there in the comments, there's every way that we talked about today that you can reach them. You can apply to be part of the Flavor Room. You can actually go and apply to be on the podcast. And there's so much more. So there's not everything that we can cover in 40 minutes, unfortunately, but this is just the beginning. So I really do appreciate them both being here. Please do subscribe to our 2 YouTube channels. We are broadcasting on many platforms, and we will go out through our distributors later today and also into the podcast platforms. But if you can go to our YouTube channels, I really love that because they give us real information. USA Global TV and Radio, where we have earned the YouTube Silver Creator Award for over 100,000 subscribers, and also Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, which we started a couple of years ago. Okay, that's all for now. We're going to go over to our sponsors, and then we'll be back with our next program. Please remember this. You have everything you need inside you. You just have to believe it. And when you're looking around for external validation, it can come and it can go. And I just tell you myself, I live alone, I work alone, I do everything that I want to do, and I get to do it. This is a gift for me. You can have your gift too. You just have to be open and willing to do the work. There is no magic wand. You have to believe in yourself. And if you are on a path that is not taking you where you want to go, you can change that path. Every day that we wake up, we get a choice. So choose wisely. And if people around you are not lifting you up, time to move on. Time to find people who really believe in you and you believe in them and you support each other. All right, that's all I have to say for today. Over to our sponsors. Thank you again.
What if one simple skill could change the way you connect with the world? What if listening could open doors to deeper relationships, stronger businesses, and a better you? Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, the Listening Mentor, brings you USA Global TV and Radio, a space where voices are heard, ideas are shared, and global communities thrive. Through the elevated listeners' courses and books, you'll master the power of listening, set boundaries with confidence, and transform conversations into opportunities. Join us. Listen, learn, elevate. Whether you're a leader, a coach, a business owner, or someone seeking stronger connections, your journey starts today. Subscribe, learn, and transform today.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents Tracy Cram-Perkins, a dementia caregiving survivor teaching how to balance care with peace of mind. #1 resource for dementia caregivers. It's the book, Dementia Home Care, How to Prepare Before, During, and After. Over 17,000 copies sold of this must-have guide. And now a testimonial from Tracy Smith.
If I was to describe this book to someone who is going through a similar situation, I would underscore how important it is to have some sort of a tool or a guidebook to help you through certain stages. And there's so many, it's such an unknown topic to the average person. And to have this as a reference is essential. It's going to help you get through it personally, as well as help your loved one manage.
To learn more, go to TracyCramPerkins.com. Tracy Cram-Perkins is an award-winning author. She's also the host of Dementia Home Care television show. Watch it here on USA Global TV and Radio.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA Global TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.